China, with a single decision, has shown it can essentially shut down vehicle manufacturing in Europe. And nobody's even talking about it. And when they are talking about it, sometimes I've seen pro-Western individuals talking about how China was outdone by the Netherlands in a curious computer chip-based economic maneuver. Oh, they really stuck it to China. They don't point out, those people, how it backfired hard. And forget the Netherlands, now the whole of Western Europe's car manufacturing is left off balance. But I'm going to go through the details. If you don't know what I'm talking about, no worries. I will explain it in a comprehensive, analytical, and unbiased fashion, without the Western spin, of course. A couple of minutes for the news, and then we'll get into the analysis for those who want to stick around. But I might not separate the news and say, here's the analysis, so you'll have to leave when you want, I suppose. Now, before we continue, the Netherlands is a North Central European country. It's a small country, 18 million people. They are called the Dutch, not the Netherlandsians. They're called the Dutch. And, this is important, Denmark is another country completely. It's a European Nordic country, meaning, you know, in the north, like Norway and Finland and Scotland. I mean Sweden. The Danes from Denmark are unrelated to the Netherlands and the Dutch, okay? So, because I know loads of people, some people at least, are going to be confused and they're going to be like, no, Netherlands we're talking about, okay? Not Belgium with the chocolates, Netherlands, okay? Stay focused. Now, the topic is Nexperia. It's a Chinese-owned chip manufacturer with its headquarters in the Netherlands. Less than a month ago, the Netherlands, or the Dutch, same thing, the Dutch government took administrative control of Nexperia, citing a reason that has grown more and more popular, arguably, as the world order shifts to multipolarity. The reason they gave for seizing control of Nexperia, national security or economic security. The Dutch Economic Ministry said that Nexperia showed, I quote, acute signals of serious governance shortcomings. These signals posed a threat to the continuity and safeguarding on Dutch and European soil of crucial technological knowledge and capabilities. So, industrial technology. Translated, it basically says, we're worried that China is benefiting from technology sitting in Europe and now we're going to stop them. Because, they're already competing with us in the EV market and the chip manufacturing. We don't want to... Anyway. Wingtech is the Chinese parent company of Nexperia. Naturally, they're the owners, right? The Chinese. They have access to chip-making technology even from their European-based facilities. They own the companies. Makes complete sense. So the Dutch government basically took control of the facility on its soil. Chinese sources are calling it robbery, right? I think the Wingtech parent company called this a robbery, basically, saying that you can't just do that. And that's basically what the Dutch did, is they attempted to lock out control from the Chinese owners from the HQ that's based in the Netherlands. This isn't exactly nationalization, by the way. Some might have been familiar with what that means. That's when a state takes control of a business and its assets and its profits, its operations, the whole shebang, from a private company. So imagine a private company is running their own thing in a country, and the country state says, no, this is now my thing, right? And it just takes control. And, some few rich guys are pretty sad for a bit, and then you get over it, I'm guessing, because you have money elsewhere. I don't know. I don't know how rich people think, and they're not a monolith. Anyway, that's not what the Dutch did here. That's what I'm trying to say. They did not take full control and nationalize, but they did take administrative control, essentially. The Chinese CEO of the company was suspended, and a non-Chinese member was added to the company's board of directors and given a specific golden deciding vote or veto, meaning he had full control now, right, of how, what the company does, which direction it's steered. And the Dutch government then imposed notable oversight on Nexperia moving forward. The state of the windmills, right, the Dutch state, now had control. Now, the Dutch are known for building, as I said, their windmills and their tulip fields. Have you seen those fields? They're damn gorgeous, right? Rows and rows of flowers. Wow, different colored rows. Now, I don't know if they've stopped planting tulips and started planting some other herb in recent years with strong hallucinogenic properties when sniffed or, crushed up and smoked. I don't know what's going on. But a serious miscalculation seems to have taken place. if they thought at a state level that you could do this, you could pull a move like this against the titan of Asia, China, in an industry as critical as computer chips. And China will just be like, yeah, no problem, no problem. We will go somewhere else for our technology. No! Come on! China responded, okay? It's not just me just saying this. China did respond. So hard was their response that forget the Dutch, it's now all of Europe that's panicking. The car industry, at least, right? The Chinese Commerce Ministry imposed export restrictions on Nexperia's Chinese unit and its subcontractors. So, like a sort of a two-stage one, effective 4th of October. That was 2 weeks ago. They've blocked exports of certain components and assemblies, assembled units produced in China. To head back to Europe. So they said, okay, we're gonna let me explain what that means. Nexperia is based in the Netherlands, right? But 80% of the chips of the company are assembled in China. Now, according to one source, that's 6 billion chips a month. You know who needs those chips? Europe. BMW, Volkswagen, European car makers need those Chinese chips. So by China imposing an export restriction on those chips, they basically said, you want to drop a cheeky hostile economic takeover? Okay, GG, well played to your entire continent's car industry. But no problem. We have BYD. We are ready to sell at a good price. And maybe I need to work on my Chinese accent, but it's fun to do. I enjoy this. Now, chip deliveries for cars, the chips that are found in cars that make all the electronics work within a vehicle, these chips are a part of a very fragile supply chain globally. The mechanism referred to as just in time, as in the suppliers and the manufacturers, they all work so closely together for maximum efficiency and profit. So any disturbance to the supply chain that's like proper refined right up to the borders, exactly what you need, I'll get it to you at exactly the time you need it. No excess, no wastage. There's no oversupply or undersupply. It's very fine-tuned. So any disturbances to that well taken care of but fragile supply chain, at any point, if there's a disturbance, if there's a supply shortage, there's usually mass ripple effect style disruptions across the industry, right? There's very little, I should say, that manufacturers, car companies can do to fix it. There's no redundancy, like, okay, you can't give me the cutting edge chips I need, I'll just go to those guys who have a few 100 million chips lying around. It doesn't work like that. You have to, there's a long lead time. If you order something now, you might get it 6 months from now. So production lines literally have to completely be halted. There's no progress. Like cars mid-build, they're just stopped and the factory's like, okay, let's just go home. Like, we can't do anything. We need the chips now. Until the chips show up, we can't do not much, right? So now the Dutch government has set fire to Europe's car industry when it was already on fire, because Chinese electric vehicle technology has outrun even German electric vehicle technology in many sub-facets, and they're all playing, European car industry is all playing catch-up while fighting off Chinese competition, technological advances, and affordability. And the Dutch know this. They know that they've bungled it, they flopped it. Because the rest of Europe were like, hey, windmills, what'd you do? My chips are delayed from the Chinese mainland. Did you do something? What did you break? And they're like, I just half nationalized a Chinese company. You what? Anyway, sorry. The latest Nexperia news is this. The Dutch Minister for Economic Affairs is seeking to meet a Chinese official from the Asian mainland to try and sort out this mess. So the Dutch know, it's clear. Someone on X described this whole debacle as a geopolitical F around and find out. It's, can't have said it better myself, even though I don't use the F word. This isn't the 1700s, my G. This isn't Dutch East Indies. These aren't your colonial subjects. The world has moved on from that. Europe can't impose harsh, one-sided restrictions on other countries in the global south without getting a lot more blowback now than historically they are used to. For better or worse, right? I'm just saying the facts. Some might be sad about the fact that the dynamics have shifted, and they might long for that age of European empires, the golden day when we lorded over everyone else. But that ship sailed, right? That's the truth. you're free still to make dubious decisions, but you're not free of the consequences of those arguably stupid decisions, especially if the beast you're poking is a Chinese dragon. Why? If you want a Western biased take that you can listen to and chuckle at, I recommend Geo Hussar. He made a video on this where he was basically, I don't know why, but he was so he framed it as China's been had one done over to it by the Netherlands. Like the Netherlands did some badass thing. I'm like, that's not what's happened. What are you reading? Are you reading what I'm reading? Oh, he probably is, but he doesn't filter out the Western spin. If anything, he augments to it, adds some bells and whistles, and then delivers it. But, much respect to Gio Hussar. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying this long, for those who have stuck around. Economics, very interesting stuff. It's one facet of geopolitics. If you want to understand geopolitics, especially for a certain region or a certain nation, you have to look at the trifecta, I would say. The internal politics of that country, the economics of that country, and the defense or military component of that country. When you know all those three, it gives you an idea of the geopolitical situation that country is in. There's also the geography. I'll probably bundle that into the economics, though. So closely tied to like trade and supply chains and routes and access to the global market. Anyway, for the unbiased news and analysis without the Western spin, I'm Mahfouz or Muffles or NewsBaba. These names are getting out of control now. And I'll see you on the next one.